Hey, baby, I want to know if you'll be my girl. That's enough flirting for me today. I don't really do this all too well. Let's talk about Team Canada, because my goodness, Owen Power, dude. His name kind of encompasses everything that we have come to expect out of his game. The name is the game right here. Yes, Triple H, the man himself. Let's talk about Owen Power and everything that we saw yesterday for Team Canada against Czechia, as well as use this as an opportunity to just go over Owen Power as a prospect in general. Because Owen Power, as the first overall drafted prospect out of the 2021 NHL Entry Draft, did something that no other first overall pick has done since Eric Johnson in, 06? And that was not go to the NHL. Owen Power is still a prospect and not a rookie, because this year, after being drafted, he did not play with the Buffalo Sabres on a D-core that boasted the likes of Rasmus Dahlin, another first overall pick, and a forward core that had Jack Eichel waiting for a surgery, who was a second overall pick. Power was like, nah. Even before the draft, Power was like, okay, I'm probably going to go back to the NCAA because I feel like I'm not ready. And to his credit, this was a great decision. It was one that I personally was on board with even before he came out with the statement and said that this was probably the route that he would go down. I was kind of like, yeah, I think that Owen Power could use another year in Michigan, because even though he has all these skills, all these very big and defining attributes to his game that you can't really find in other defensemen, it's just so unpolished and raw with Power that another year toning everything and just refining everything could be very beneficial to this player before he goes out there and plays significant ice time on an NHL team, especially one that is projected to being as bad as Buffalo is going to be. And so, going back over to the NCAA, this was the right move in my opinion, and it was one that we started to see some very, very early bearings of fruit from. Last season for Owen Power's freshman year with the Michigan Wolverines, he had himself 16 points in 26 games played. He also had 3 points in 10 games for Team Canada at the World Championships. Now, this is the regular men's World Championships, not the one like the World Juniors or the U18s or whatever. That didn't really register for Owen Power. He didn't play in those, but for the regular Canadian squad against other men with NHL athletes on a pairing with Troy Stecher, Power went out there as an 18-year-old, he looked like he belonged, and he won a gold medal. He's looking to becoming the next in line after, I believe it was Patrice Bergeron, to win a World Junior medal after winning a World Championship medal. If he does that, then he'll be in the same category as Bergie, so very nice for him. We, of course, have to see if they go out there and win gold, Team Canada that is, in order for Power to achieve that. But this season, look at Michigan and just see what Owen Power has done, dude. In 18 games played, so 8 fewer than last year, he has 23 points. So he's gone out there as an over point per game defenseman, over an assist a game defenseman. And now, in the first game for the World Juniors against Team Czechia, after the team is 3-1 to kick off the game, Owen Power scores a hat trick in the span of about 20 minutes. We already talked about this game a little bit in the Red Wings recap, so going over Simon Edvinsson, Theodor Niederbach, these two guys from Sweden on the Red Wings, as well as Donovan Sebrango on the Red Wings as well, who was playing for Team Canada. But this game was kind of wild. It was 3-1 at one point in the first period. Stanislav Svozil gets himself what is probably the goal of the tournament so far, and it takes him 12 minutes from the start of the game to do that and put the team up 3-1 in the process. However, give it 23 seconds after Svozil's beautiful goal, and Team Canada is starting to lay the pressure down on Team Czechia. It bounces out in front, there's a big scramble on the puck, it gets thrown out to the half boards where Owen Power picks it back up, and Power picks the puck back up, he sees a big scramble in front, he holds it, he looks, he waits, he takes, he scores, and it bounces in. The goaltender is really not in place. It's a very bad goal from a hockey standpoint, just taking a look at what happened. This is definitely bad defense, bad clearing attempt, very greasy goal in front, but hey, Owen Power's gone out there and brought the Canadians within one, so very good for him, and a goal that he would like to have. Give it a little bit more time, and eventually it's Donovan Sebrango, Red Wings prospect. We already discussed him in the previous video, or 2 videos ago, I should say. He gets himself the game-tying goal at the end of the first period with 29 seconds to go, so it's 3-3. And then the second period comes along where Owen Power goes out there and he just does his thing. Now, I'm not going to talk about this in great detail, but if you want to go out there and give me your opinions, then hey, the comment section is your floor. But Team Czechia had some penalty trouble in this second period, and it eventually led to an extended amount of 5-on-3s for Team Canada, and this is kind of where Owen Power just showed up and he was like, okay, thank you very much. I'm going to take my goals now. The first goal scored in the second period on the power play by Owen Power. It is a one-time opportunity. He is on the far right side. He kind of edges his way over there after swapping with the man on top. I believe it was Cole Perfetti. But Perfetti just throws one over to the side. Owen Power grips it, rips it, and scores. It goes right through the goaltender over here, and it is 4-3 Team Canada with about halfway in the game to go. Then you give it a few more minutes because this is an extended 5-on-3, and the Canadians maintain the same kind of cycling. Owen Power is up at the top, he moves over to the side once in a while, switches spots with Johnson and Perfetti. Eventually it's Cole Perfetti who takes a shot towards the goal. It gets deflected by Mason McTavish, it's saved by the goaltender, and then the rebound pops out in front, and it's Owen Power right there at the doorstep because for some reason he's gone out there and planted himself at the side of the net as a defenseman. And he scores another goal. 5-3 Canada is the score at this point. Owen Power gets a hat trick. And this is a tweet I wanted to go out there and read. The last defenseman to score a hat trick for Team Canada at the World Juniors, that would be way back in never. History for Owen Power in Edmonton. He is the very first Canadian defenseman to score a hat trick at the World Juniors, and that stat blows my freaking mind. How has there never been a Canadian defenseman getting a hat trick at the Worlds? Okay, World Juniors, not Worlds. Worlds implies the World Championships. Owen Power's the first one to do that? Are you kidding me? Not like Morgan Riley or Tyson Barrie or anybody else who's gone out there and scored a whole bunch of goals? Really crazy to me to see that that's the statistic over there. But I mean, having Owen Power as the first ever Canadian guy to do that is a pretty good accolade in itself. And now you take a look at where Owen Power's season has gone. Hey, he's gone out there and really made himself a resume with all the production he has had in the NCAA, with the hat trick to kick off the World Juniors right here. He has more points in this World Junior tournament than he did in the entire World Championships last year in 10 games in one game. And it's not even just the straight-up point production that has been impressive for Power either. I want to retell this a little bit because it kind of hammers the point down pretty well. Sure, scouting outlets last year had Owen Power as the unanimous first overall pick. But if you went over to the social medias and you took a look at all of the scouts who work for other outlets that don't really have their own say represented on elite prospects and their draft rankings profiles, there were a lot of scouts, a lot of people in the scouting community whose opinions I value tremendously, who all had Owen Power not as the first overall guy, but as a guy in the 5, 6, 7 range. Now, mock drafts are different than draft rankings. One's own opinion on a player influences the draft ranking. The mock draft is, on the other hand, an assessment where you say, okay, first overall Buffalo, they're likely going to take this player. Second overall X team, they're going to take Y player. Your own personal draft rankings are kind of different, and a lot of people's draft rankings in the scouting world had Power outside the top 1 spot. This was because even though he has such a good tool set, he's got so many skills. When he's at his best, he's a big booming shot, he's physical, he skates north-south like a bull, and he's so hard to knock off the puck in the offensive zone. He can just go around and circle over guys. It's crazy what Owen Power can do when he is at his best. But there were so many inconsistencies with his play in the defensive zone, on the rush itself, and just when he had the puck outside of the offensive zone, that made it difficult for scouts everywhere to agree that he would be first overall worthy in the same way they did when McDavid was eligible, or when Matthews was eligible, or when Hughes and Dahlin were eligible too. Power was not seen as that guy, and even though they went and took him first overall anyway, he has gone out there this season and really changed a lot of what we had concerns with last year. He is becoming a lot more efficient in his own zone now. He is starting to skate more and be more consistent holding onto the puck now. We saw at the World Championships, he was really not bad, and it's kind of why it cemented his status as a first overall projected player when he was pairing up with Troy Stecher, winning gold medals for Team Canada during the international scene. And so, for Owen Power to do as well as he has done with the Michigan Wolverines this season, after saying to the media, after saying to everybody, yeah, I need to go back, I need to do my thing, I need to work on my game a little bit more before I'm ready to sign an NHL contract, now it's gotten to a point where I'm like, yeah, the Buffalo Sabres, look at what they've done to big guys in the past, like Ristolainen and Tyler Myers, of course. Rasmus Dahlin, we had concerns about him earlier on in his career. But if they had Owen Power, the raw version of Owen Power from last season on their team now, I doubt he goes out there and develops in the way that he has, because development is so sacred, especially for guys that are drafted at the top of their selections. And for Owen Power, I mean, breaking the mold of what is it, like 15 years straight of first overall picks going to the NHL right away? That takes guts, man. And from the way that we are seeing things unfold right now, it looks like it was the right decision by far. So talk to me in the comments if you're a Buffalo Sabres fan, or a Team Canada fan in general, or a Michigan Wolverines fan. What are your thoughts on Owen Power? What have you seen out of him this season? Are you more excited for him today than you were a year ago? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.